first thing we're going to do is put together the centre back seam. If you don't have a centre back seam because you've cut the whole piece as one, then you're on to the next part. Well done. So I've come down 5 centimeters. This is 2 inches from the centre back neck, and that's because of the markings we're going to do later. And I'm going to sew from here down to the hem, and remembering my Yuki measurement and how far out I'll go for the seam allowance. That's where this all comes in. And it's also a great place where if you want to make it a little bit larger, you can add a smaller seam allowance, because it's one seam, it's not gonna be mirrored anywhere else, so you can do something a bit different on this one. You can also make it wider if you want to bring it in at the back, but that's a great little place to start. This is the start of garment construction, and I'm gonna pin all the way down to the hem, and then once I've done that, I can mark in how we attach the collar, and that's in the PDF. All the only curved seam in the whole garment is coming up in a minute. So I'm going to sew this down, and then we'll get into that. We're starting 5 centimeters from the centre back neck, because that's how the garment is created. The centre back neck is 5 centimeters down, and I'm going to sew all the way down to the hem. I've sewn together the centre back seam all the way down, and now, like all the seams on this, I'm going to press it open. You might have decided to French seam your centre back seam, which is absolutely fine. You might have just sewn a regular seam, and now you're going to close it with an overlocker and press it to one side, and that's fine as well. This is how I do them. So I've got my seam, my raw edges are enclosed in a turnover finish, and then I press the stitches in. I always make sure, even if I'm pressing an open seam, I press the stitches into the fabric so it's all nice and neat, and you get any of the little roping and things like that out of your seam. And then what I'm doing is I'm pressing the seam open. One of my favourite things when you're looking at traditional Japanese kimonos, especially summertime hitoi, is what they do. Because you can see the seams are just made so incredibly beautifully that the whole star of the garment could just be the seam work. The closures, the folding, the way they're pressed in different ways, and the way they're treated every way. Absolutely, it's an art form all in itself, just the seams. So you've done your first seam of your garment. It's now coming together. Oh, look at that. Can you see? Yeah, you can. Oh, if I hold it up against me like that. Wow. That is absolutely beautiful. Isn't that just beautiful? Right, I need to stop gawking at it and start making some markings. We're going to make the markings at the centre back neck now as to where we put the collar when we attach it. So I'm going to come over to the desk and show you how we do that.